What's going on, Built by Bai Team? Thank you for checking out this week's Bendy with Bai stretch class. My brain totally spaced. Today I've got a really good one for you, and it's actually going to be a two-parter. So it's going to be a healthy hip mobility stretch class. We're going to start off with some stretches to make sure that those muscles are at appropriate lengths, and then we're going to do a couple of isolated strength exercises because hips are one that are typically really neglected. They're weak, they're tight, and it can cause a lot of hip pain. It can cause a lot of back pain. It can cause a lot of knee pain. That's something I really commonly see. So this is going to be a class that's really good to come back to and kind of test how much stronger you're getting, how much better your mobility is getting into this position, because our hip is a ball and socket joint, excuse me. And so it's really important to make sure that we are maintaining mobility throughout all the range of motion that it's supposed to do, and that we're also strengthening so that we can have healthy hips for a really long time. Because if you want to be able to walk, run, jump, squat, cartwheel, do all of the things your whole entire life and not ever be stuck in a wheelchair because of poor hips, this is going to be a really beneficial class for you. So find a comfortable place and let's get started. Alrighty, team. So we're going to be starting in a standing position. So I want you to find a comfortable place that you're going to be able to take up some space. We're going to have feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to hinge here at our hips and dangle down, trying to get our arms as close to the ground as possible. We're not locking out those knees We're not locking out those knees by any means. We're going to have a nice soft bend, hang out in the middle, and then what we're going to do on this one is just kind of walk our hands back and forth between our right and left side just so we can work on different variations. Breathe into one a little bit longer if it feels tighter for you. Kind of just pay attention to your body, and this is going to be a really good time to work on your mind-muscle connection. So you're going to see improvements in your workout, improvements in your progress. You're going to notice yourself going further and faster and getting stronger in different areas. So that's why it's really important to be intentional during these classes. Go ahead and walk back and forth between those hands one more time. Come back to center. Slowly roll up before we get down, and we're going to get into a pigeon stretch. So what that looks like is we're going to come into a plank position. Let's go ahead and start by stretching our right leg. That means we're going to bring this knee up into the center of our body, and we're going to sink down to create a good stretch throughout our piriformis. This is a deep glute hip muscle that it can be really tight depending on what sport you did. If you spend a lot of time like working at a desk, this is a muscle that can definitely tighten up, and it's definitely one that's important to make sure that it's oh my goodness, it's in an appropriate length. Guys, I can't talk today. Breathe into it. Anywhere that's kind of wanting to twitch or fight back against you, that's your body's fight or flight system that's showing you like, hey, this is uncomfortable, we don't like it, get out of it. But it is important that if you're maintaining good breath, you're not pushing yourself too far, that you can relax into. Go ahead and slowly come out of that one. Bring your left leg through, sink back into it. You can hang out down here on our elbows. You can be up here on your hands if that's a little bit more comfortable for you. Kind of find what challenges you. If you need to use blocks to elevate yourself up a little bit, that's okay. We're just going to try to sink a little deeper into this one. And again, kind of pay attention to like what side you're tighter on. So for me personally, my right side is definitely a lot tighter on this one. I'm able to relax into this side more comfortably. It doesn't feel as challenging to be down on my elbows. And again, that's coming from being very intentional and very mindful about and very demure. No, I'm not saying that. That'll hopefully be cut. Anyways, it's going to be important that you can relax into this, but make sure you're being intentional and mindful about what muscles are tighter. Go ahead and come out of that one. The next one that we're going to get into is we're going to be in a child's pose. I want your big toes together. We're going to take those knees pretty wide, and we're going to sink those hips back as low as we can. And again, I know we do child's pose quite a bit, and it's something that like I kind of bring awareness to different areas. But with this one, I really want you focused on sinking your hips down and back. And you can push into your hands if you're needing to. Biggest goal with this one is we're really trying to open up our hips. Same thing, big deep breaths. Five more seconds here. Beautiful. Go ahead and rise out of that position. Now we're going to be getting into our activation exercises. So the first one that we're going to be doing is some fire hydrants. So when you're on all fours, let's go ahead and start with our left leg. We're going to be doing 5 fire hydrants. All that is with a bent leg. We're going to just lift that leg up to work on our abductors, strengthening these guys. Give me 5 on each side, trying to stay nice and square that we aren't rocking throughout our torso. Go ahead when you're ready on that right side and give me 5 fire hydrants. Beautiful. This one can get a little burny, but that's okay. That's what we're doing is we're strengthening these muscles. The next one we're going to do is some hip circles. So with this one, I want us really focused on creating a big circle using our knee with this one. So we're going to do 3 going forward and 3 going back. So make sure we're staying nice and strong throughout our core, that we're not swaying through our back, keeping like a nice tabletop. Go ahead and elevate your left leg. Let's start with 3 hip circles forward. So that knee is going to be coming forward, and I want you to try to draw a circle with your knee as big as you can. When you've done 3 forward, work on 3 backwards. Good. Those ones can be tough, a little crampy, pinchy. If you need to do more because it's not tough enough, that's okay. This is going to just kind of be a light hip activation. Now let's go ahead and work on that other side. Let's start with going 3 forward. Good. Beautiful. 3 backwards. Good. Last one. Beautiful. Okay. Again, it might be a little crampy, pinchy with some of those ones just because hips are very commonly weak, just because we don't do a lot of motions like that throughout our day-to-day life, but they are important. Last one that we're going to finish off from a strengthening activation standpoint is we're going to be back into a standing position. We're going to be holding here onto our ankles, and we're going to be doing squat toe touches. So we're going to sink those hips down nice and low. Send those hips up nice and high. This is good because it's going to be stretching the hamstrings at the same time, but it's also working our hip through a big range of motion on this one. Good. Let's go ahead and do 5 total. You can go at your own pace of what feels good. Good. I got 2 more. Can wiggle through it if needed. Last one, best one. Beautiful. Okay, thank you for checking out this week's Healthy Hip Mobility Stretch class. Again, this was kind of a fun one because we got to do some of the stretching, but we're also doing some of the activation to make sure that these hips are strong. This is going to be a really good one that you could do before your leg days, especially if you're going to be back squatting or anything like that. So definitely come back to this class regularly to keep getting better. It'll definitely get your heart rate up, and you can kind of challenge it to you. But just know that when it comes to stretching, it's not a one size fits all. Listen to your body. Start working on that mind muscle connection so that you can keep working forward with your flexibility and your mobility goals. But that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you for checking it out. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Come back to these weekly. It means the absolute world to me. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, and I will see you on next week's Bendy with Bai stretch class.